The husband spent $6 billion buying a gemstone, planning to give it to his pregnant wife, but his wife told him she had already aborted the child because she wanted to attend a radio host interview. The husband couldn't believe it and stood up to leave. His wife said they could have another child, but this opportunity only comes once. After hearing this, the husband turned back and said he truly regretted ever meeting her. 10 years passed. Through her beauty and intelligence, she became the company's top broadcaster. But this success came at the cost of her family's happiness. Since the abortion, her husband hadn't touched her for 10 years. That day, her mother-in-law suddenly came by to remind her it was her ovulation day. As usual, her mother-in-law left the fertility medication and departed. She looked at the medication, then at the red circle on the calendar, and couldn't help but sigh. When her husband came home, she quickly approached him and handed him the medication. Her husband glanced at it and walked away without looking back. Longing for love, she could only use exercise to vent her inner emptiness. That evening was a class reunion, and every couple came together. Everyone knew she and her husband had a bad relationship. To cover this up, she deliberately linked arms with her husband. Unexpectedly, her husband immediately shook off her hand. All their classmates witnessed the scene. After returning home, she questioned her husband about why he couldn't cooperate just a little, even if it was just pretending. Her husband told her to stop forcing herself. All he could do was wait for her to voluntarily give up on this marriage. Understanding her husband's meaning, she could only numb herself with alcohol. At midnight, the phone rang, notifying her to go to the airport to pick up an important guest who was scheduled to participate in the morning news broadcast. She knew this guest was crucial and could determine her professional status. The company was bringing in new talent, so she had to seize this opportunity. She changed clothes and was about to leave when her husband grabbed her arm. The two looked at each other as her husband told her that just now, her mother had taken a critical turn. The doctor said she only had a few hours left and hoped she would come for one last visit. She was stunned, but she quickly made her decision. She felt that since her mother couldn't be saved anyway, the client was more important. Her husband looked at her in shock, unable to believe these were her words. That was her own biological mother. She didn't look back and turned to leave. On the way to the airport, she became more and more hesitant. When she reached the fork in the road, she stopped the car. One way led to meeting the client, the other to seeing her mother one last time. She thought for a moment and ultimately still turned toward the airport. By then, her mother had already passed away. Only her husband Tai Hyun remained by the hospital bed.